And thank you, and thanks to all of you for being so patient and listening to every detail we could possibly think about in terms of this launch. As you can tell, we're excited about the journey we've begun. I want to say a special thank you to Mady Henson from the United Way of America team you saw in the video, who in a short period of time was really the author of that framework. So Mady, thank you for your leadership. Alex Sanchez, who leads our entire community impact group, and Emily DeMaria, who was the person 5 years ago who was the first champion on "we are going to do this" on financial self-sufficiency at the time, and pulled some of us into this work. So thank you. We've got a few minutes for questions, but let me just wrap it with this thought. It was that meeting in San Francisco when the city treasurer got up and in the context of the conversation made the point to me, I guess, that the city matches EITC returns in the city of San Francisco. And so obviously you're doubling the impact of the return. And it got us thinking about how would we get public local leaders and local philanthropic and private leaders together to start thinking about those kind of strategies. And it led to the idea of a summit in San Francisco in July, the EITC and Beyond Summit, where we're asking local United Way leaders as one point of invitation to bring your public sector partner with you. That let's be clear that this isn't a United Way initiative, and let's be clear it's not just a private sector initiative. And so there'll be a summit in July in San Francisco. We clearly are interested in continuing our partnership with our corporate friends and our nonprofit friends. You know, whether it's Salvation Army, Red Cross, YMCA's, local nonprofits that, unless you're from that community, you never heard of before, but are great leaders in their neighborhoods. And public policy and our efforts in advocating for what we think makes good sense as it relates to trying to get folks stable and beyond is now a shift for us in our public policy work. And for instance, why wouldn't we consider a policy that would broaden and make more flexible individual development accounts? And why wouldn't we consider every child in America having the opportunity of being born with a savings account? And the same thing that, you know, when you looked at your passbook account growing up and, you know, you watched it build, everybody has that same feeling. Some folks just are born without the ability to put anything in it. And so why not, as a matter of policy, think about how we get folks started the right way? But the last thing is, you know, sometimes whether it's our acronyms or how we think about our frameworks and so forth, we sometimes get too complicated. We're involved in rethinking our work around financial stability and independence because it's our belief that all people only want a few things. They want a good job, they want a decent place to live, and they want enough support to make it. That's all this is. How do we make sure that folks have the support they need, have the kind of job that will be available in this country? It's just going to take more training and support, and have a decent place to live and get by. That's what this partnership is about. That's what I think we're all about. So we're thrilled that we've launched this with you as our partners. And let me now ask if there are any questions for anyone on the panel.
Hi, I'm Ann Lee from CFED, and Andrea Levere and Bob Friedman send you their congratulations. We're very pleased and honored to be a part of this partnership with you. And I wondered, Brian, if you would like to comment on how important this is not only for the families, but actually for national financial security and the prosperity of our nation.
Happy to do that. My view is that there's, and I think history would teach us that there's never long-term economic success for a society unless there's long-term human success. And in a market economy, disparity is actually a good thing. It means that you're creating opportunity and choice and so forth. But when the disparity gets too wide, as I think most economists would say today, it's too wide, you actually run the risk of civil society breaking down. And if civil society breaks down, then the economic framework doesn't work. if you talk to business leaders, as we do all the time about going into this work more aggressively, they're so supportive of it because they have now seen very directly that they can't recruit the employees that they need for the jobs that are being created in the U.S. We will have a job shortage by most forecasts in the U.S. in our recent future, or in our coming future. The question is, will we train enough young people, provide enough support to families in order to fill those jobs? So it is critically important for families, but it's critically important for the economy as well. And I would say for civil society. I in a meeting recently said to a group of our colleagues that if we don't deal with the disparity in the country, that we run the risk of seeing what we saw in Paris and in France recently with the unrest, that there'd be that kind of despair and lack of hope. And this young man looks at me and says, we already have it. It's just not rioting in the suburbs, but we've got young African-American men, young Latino men killing each other every day in America. That despair is already there. And so why, let's step up to that as well. So it is, we think, a matter of civil society and economic competitiveness as a nation.